So universal laws are very, very powerful. Okay. And to understand that we live according to these universal laws, which means anywhere on this planet that you live on, these are truths that you can either work within or you can fight up against. Okay. So to work within the law of gravity, you just know that gravity is going to hold you down and you go on with your day in the assumption that gravity is going to hold you down. So you're working with the law. When you are fighting against the laws, it's where you do not believe they are true. On a conscious level, you might say, yeah, that sounds true. But then you live your life like it's not true. So the law of cause and effect, that is a universal law. So no matter where you exist on this planet, the effect that you observe in your reality is directly caused by your own consciousness. The way you think, the way you feel, the identity and self-concept that you have, your values, your morals, the way you perceive the world, it created your reality. It's the law of cause and effect. But many of us walk around like the external circumstances of our life are creating our reality. So we believe that our angry friend over here that got mad at us over there is to blame for our misfortune. We believe that the traumas that have occurred in our lives have decided that we are what we believe we are, when they have not. That simply happened, and you created a belief that it meant something about you. And then you took on that belief. That's the law of cause and effect. So many people believe the outside world is the cause. And so you're fighting up against the law. Understand that you are the cause, take responsibility, and change your entire life's experience in every single way. So any idea held on the screen of the mind will manifest into the physical form by law. That is law. That is truth. You can't deny that everything we see didn't start as a thought. But yet when it comes to you thinking about what you want and bringing it into the physical form, you do not believe it's possible. You don't believe it's going to happen. So you're fighting against universal law. All this to say that there is a law of infinite supply. So I have a course called By Law that we're going to be opening up for enrollment in January. And in that course, I talk about the law of infinite supply. So the law of infinite supply says that there is an infinite supply of whatever it is that you desire as long as you have created a demand. Right? So as long as you have created a demand, you will infinitely and forever be supplied. What's the demand? Your consciousness. So if you are someone that was born into impoverished beliefs, so you believe that it is hard to make money, that you have no money, that you will never have any money, and that it's challenging to even get by, you have not created demand. The person who says, hold on a minute, just because I've been born into a life that appears to be impoverished, it appears to look like poverty, doesn't mean that has to be my reality. You know what? I'm going to think about abundance. I'm going to think about prosperity. I'm going to be open to receive more. I'm actually going to see myself out of that type of life. I'm going to see myself elevating and expanding and growing. I'm going to see success. I'm going to see prosperity. I'm going to see more money in my life than my family's ever had. You're creating a demand through that way of thinking. So any rags to riches story started with that person deciding to no longer remain in that set of ideas and to see themselves outside of that idea. So me, I was a registered nurse. That's a traditional employment. It's a traditional job. You get an hourly wage and you go to work every single day. So I created a demand to make up to $30 an hour, let's say, in my thinking. And so I couldn't see past that. But then I decided to start in network marketing. And I started to be like, hey, wait a minute. What if I made $30 in 5 minutes? What if I made $30 in 10 minutes? What if I made money while I was sleeping? I wasn't even working. What if I started to make $20,000 a month? What would that be like for me? And so I opened up the demand for infinite supply to come to me, but I had to make a new decision. I couldn't stay working as a nurse and make money while I'm sleeping. That income opportunity did not allow for that. So I had to step into a version of myself who was willing to make a new decision, to take risks, to become an entrepreneur. There's a difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneur mindset. Very different. It's similar to prosperity versus poverty mindsets. So really, really powerful. So that is the law of infinite supply. So we create the demand through our thoughts, feelings, and our actions. So one little thing that I have a little habit of doing is I go out and I buy myself something nice before I'm launching something new. Why do I do that? Why do I go buy myself something nice when I'm launching something new? So I'm about to launch the new business and I go buy a Louis Vuitton bag. Why would I do that? Because I believe that the new business is going to be successful. And so when I go out and I make the purchase for that bag, it is an act of faith. It's creating demand and it's making space for infinite supply to fulfill me. And so then I go into the business launch with the expectation and the assumption that it is going to be successful, and that it is. So just a little example. So it doesn't have to be a Louis Vuitton bag, but it could be, maybe there's this shirt that you've been eyeing that's $120 and you can't believe that you'd ever spend $120 on a shirt. Go buy the shirt. And I talk about money, it is the same as water, right? Like I sit here, well, it's water with my greens in it. But this glass, I just drink it with the belief that I can just fill this back up with more water. And that's how we want to see our bank accounts. So when we spend, it fills right back up. So many people that achieve the most success in any of my courses or my programs are the ones that go into it with, I'm making the decision that I'm going to spend this much on this program for myself, and I'm going to double it. I'm going to triple it. It's going to come back. Why is that? Why are they the ones that do that immediately? Because of their belief in the fact. It's the idea that you've held on the screen of your mind. Expect it to happen. It will happen every single time. Yeah, faith. Yeah. And making a decision is so incredibly powerful. So the law of infinite supply, you create the demand through you. If you want something, you make it happen. Every single time. You can look back on this in your life. If you want something, you will make it happen. If my car broke down tomorrow, I would buy a new car. So would you. If your phone broke, if you had no money for a new phone, you would figure it out. You would absolutely figure it out without a shadow of a doubt and get yourself a new phone. Probably within the first hour. I would be at the store within the first hour being like, I need a phone. Help me. But the thing of it is that that's the importance of decision and making a decision. I remember when I invested in my next level course, I invested $8,000 to take a course with Bob Proctor. And I'd invested $8,000 before in university degrees, but that felt normal, natural. That was like, yeah, of course we spend money on university degrees. But to take a Bob Proctor course and spend $8,000, I was like, ooh, this feels different. This feels uncomfortable. So I did that. And then I remember after I took that course, and obviously my life changed in a huge way, then, Bob says to me, I've got this master class coming out that's $25,000, Kathleen. You got to sign up for it. And I was like, $25,000? I think it might have been 3 months. I can't remember. But at the time I was like, my image of myself and my self-concept was like, eek, 25,000. And then he goes, and you should pay in full. I'm like, $25,000 pay in full, Bob? And he's like, you ready to grow, Kathleen? You ready to grow? And in that moment, I knew in my heart, yes, I am ready to grow, Bob. And do I know that this $25,000 program will change me? Yes, I do. Do I believe in myself? Yes, I do. Do I know that I will follow through? Yes, I do. And so I made the decision and I paid in full $25,000 for that program. It was a stretch and I felt it, but the woman that I am today continues to stretch like that. And so I'm creating more and more demand every single time. The biggest stretch I've ever done is over $300,000 on something for myself. Over $300,000 for my growth. That one was real uncomfortable. But I believe in myself that much to do that. So I keep increasing the demand so that I can receive. I made a decision. I paid the $25,000, even if I didn't have it. I knew it was coming back to me. How do I know that? How do I know the money's coming back to me? Because everything I ask for, I get. Because I have absolute faith. Because I am my biggest investment. Is your car going to give you money back? Your $10,000 car, your $15,000 car, your $30,000 car going to pay you back? No, it's depreciating. But we will spend 20, 30, 40 grand on a car. But we will not spend money on ourselves, investing in ourselves. Your personal growth and development will pay you back for the rest of your life. So spend $10,000 on our millionaire program. You make $10,000 back this year, $10,000 next year, $20,000 the year after, $40,000 the year after, $50,000 after that. We're up over $1 million. And the beautiful thing is that you keep pumping out an elevated version of you who keeps doing better, who's achieving more, who's loving life more and more joyful. And then you just keep pumping out more. And so then you are paying yourself back through your own personal growth and development. I used to be somebody, I said this at my Roche Canada keynote speech, I was deeply in the healthcare industry. And so I have 2 bachelor's degrees, I have a master's degree, and I had 3 certifications. And then I kept going and getting more. I would learn how to do my job better, but I didn't learn how to be better myself. That's personal growth and development versus professional development. So professional development says that I believe that I am this. I am a nurse. I am a real estate agent. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a marketing guru. I'm blah, 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 blah. And then you go and study the thing outside of you. Learn more strategies, learn more high how-tos. No. It's going within. It's understanding that your consciousness. And so now I run my business. Nobody taught me how to run a coaching business. Nobody taught me how to do any of this. I created it all from being guided through my intuition, stepping into the best of myself. And now I'm the CEO and founder of a company that has brought through well over 25 million in revenue in the past 3.5 years. A beautiful academy of people to support other people in their growth, guided by intuition and faith. I didn't hire a business coach. I have hired coaches that help me in my personal growth and development along the way. Even I remember we had a call once with Bob and he said, it was like the top 5 people in his company. And these people were making millions of dollars. And he says, when was the last time that any of you took a course on how to sell? And everybody was like, no, been a long time. I don't think I have. And I was like, never. So how is it that these people are selling so incredibly well, but they're not studying how to sell because they're studying themselves? So studying yourself helps you do everything for everybody, because this is the truth of it. You are your truth. Visualization is part of your imagination. And imagination is one of your higher intellectual faculties, and it is a function of the mind to visualize. The imagination, in my opinion, is your access and your portal to God. So some call it imagination and others call it God. Okay, that's from Neville Goddard's book, Power of Awareness. I truly believe that we are able to do God's work through the use of our imagination. So when the Wright brothers started to think about and have the ideas and have the intuitive hits of, we're supposed to figure out how to fly the airplane. Like, we should be able to fly through the sky. That intuitive hit, that nudge, those ideas, that came from God. So when they allowed themselves to tap into their imagination and to visualize themselves flying on an airplane, that is them tapping into God's abilities, creation. So imagination is something we all have. And so there are people that believe that there is this condition where you cannot visualize. Well, if you believe you have this condition and you cannot visualize, then that will be your reality. Something does not exist if you are not aware of it or if you do not choose to perceive it. So many people want to say, how do I know God is around? Through your perception of it, of God, your ability to be aware of God. So the question isn't, how do I know God is here? The question is, how can I choose to perceive God more today? How can I be more aware of God today? God, universe, source, creator, whatever language you love to use. We're all talking about the same thing. So how do you tap into more vivid visualizations? Is to understand that you have the ability right now to see something on your mind that your eyes are not observing. So I want it to be vivid and I want to see it through my third eye. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It's not about watching a movie in your head. And it's actually not even about what you see, but how you feel. Feeling is the secret. So for example, right now, I can ask you, you don't even have to close your eyes. I can ask you right now, tell me the color of your fridge. Is it black? Is it white? Is it stainless steel? Is it covered in magnets? What color is your fridge? And if you don't have a fridge, tell me what color your car is. What side of the driveway did you park your car on? Or in the garage? Did you park it on the street? So as soon as I'm asking you these questions, what's happening? You're seeing it. You visualize it. You can actually visualize yourself walking down the street. You can visualize yourself walking down the beach. It doesn't have to be this like vivid movie playing on the screen of your mind through your third eye that's like, it's just a flash. And sometimes you still see black, but it's weird because you'll picture the beach. We all have the ability. And so it's just harnessing that ability. It's just using will. It's just practicing. What would I love to see today? And then close your eyes and choose to see that thing. Takes practice, but it's there. The other piece with visualizations that's really important is that you want to visualize in a way that is associated, not disassociated. So when you are disassociated from your visualizations, you are observing your visualization like you are not a part of it. You are not in it. So for example, if you say that you're visualizing yourself on stage speaking, a disassociated visualization would be you're sitting in the audience and you're watching yourself on the stage. You've disconnected from you. It's like it's a different version of you doing it, less powerful. So what we want to do is we want to associate with that visualization. So we want to be in the visualization, like virtual reality. You want to see it through your own eyes. So when I'm visualizing myself on stage, I'm not sitting in the audience watching myself. I don't see my full body. I don't see like my hair and my outfit. When I'm visualizing myself on stage, I'm standing and I see the audience and I see the microphone and I see my feet in front of me and my hands in front of me. See the difference? Two completely different ways of visualizing. The other thing is a lot of people will visualize things in the future and then it keeps them in the future. So they'll visualize themselves taking their family on a trip to Hawaii and their kids are 5 years older than they are right now. No, visualize your kids right now in the ages that they are today, right now. Don't visualize your kids doing when they're in high school or when they're married, right? And yes, the most important part is to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled in your visualization. So when I visualize myself on stage and I see the mic in front of me and I see my hands and I see my feet and I see the audience, guess what happens? Immediately, I feel what it would feel like to be on that stage in front of 10,000 people. I can feel the nervousness. I'm like, ooh, this is uncomfortable. But when I'm visualizing myself on stage and I'm in the audience, I'm safe over there. I'm not in front of anybody. I'm hiding. So you're not going to feel the feeling. And visualization is so impactful that it literally will change your life. It will change your performance. There has been studies to show that athletes will visualize practicing their sport and their performance will improve. There is studies that show that weightlifters will visualize themselves lifting weight and they will increase their strength. So visualization literally will change your physical body, will change your performance. So if you're about to speak on stage, visualize yourself up there speaking on stage with confidence, with ease, with flow, the audience loving you, all that kind of stuff. Don't sit there practicing your speech for 7 hours. I didn't do that at all. I didn't even want to write a speech. I just wanted to get up there and talk. But visualization is one of the most powerful things. It is my number one business tool, is my imagination. My number one business tool. How often are you visualizing? The one thing that I would be super, super crisp and clear on is what am I doing in exchange for the $72.6 million? Okay, so it's not, when I have this $76.2 million, what am I going to do with it? That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking, what are you going to do in exchange for the $72.6 million? We are compensated for the way in which we lead, love, and serve others. And so if you use your manifestation skills and abilities to attract a windfall lottery to you, and you have not done an exchange, the money will disappear. You'll squander it. You'll give it all away. You won't know what to do. So what am I going to do? I always ask that question. Whenever I am asking to be an elevated version of myself, and whenever I am asking for more money, more business success, more time and financial freedom, I always ask the question, what am I going to do in exchange for it? How many more people am I going to help? What bigger ways am I going to serve? I'm in alignment then with the law of compensation. I made $65,000 in the first month of my coaching business on Facebook through a cold network. No ads, no marketing team, no landing page, nothing. It was faith. I didn't even have anywhere to house my lessons. You don't need all that stuff to be successful.